The planet Velair was burning. Giant ships filled the dark sky. They fired red beams of death. Cities exploded into dust. Mountains melted like ice. Millions of innocent people ran for their lives, but there was nowhere to hide. The Krellin Empire had come to destroy them. In the underground council chamber, Elder Tharn watched his world die on the screens. His hands shook. His people were screaming above. They had only hours left before complete destruction. "Send the message," he whispered. "Send it to everyone. Someone must help us." The communication officer pressed the emergency broadcast. A desperate message shot across the galaxy in all directions. It was a simple cry for help, a plea from a dying civilization. "This is Velair. We are under attack. Please, anyone help us." The message traveled through space. It reached hundreds of star systems. Most species ignored it. Some felt sad but did nothing. War was common in the galaxy. Death was normal. No one wanted to fight the Krellins. But then the message reached a small blue planet called Earth. In the human military headquarters, Admiral Sarah Chun received the signal. She played it 3 times. Her officers stood silent around the table. They all heard the fear in the alien voice. They heard children crying in the background. "Ma'am, should we respond?" asked her second officer. Admiral Chun closed her eyes. She remembered something from 20 years ago. When Earth was young and weak in space, the Velair people had shared their technology. They had given humans food during the Mars colony famine. They had asked for nothing in return. She opened her eyes. They were cold now, determined. "Give me the War Council. Now!" Across Earth, alarms rang in every military base. Soldiers stopped their training. Pilots ran to their ships. Engineers started the massive war machines that humans kept hidden from the galaxy. Something ancient woke up in humanity that day. Something that other species had forgotten. Humans remembered their friends. And humans protected what they loved. In orbit above Earth, the first fleet began to move. 200 warships. Silent, deadly, ready. Admiral Chun pressed the communication button. Her message was short. "Velair, this is Earth. Hold on. We're coming." The galaxy was about to learn a terrible lesson. Never make humans angry. The War Council met in 60 seconds. General Marcus Stone stood at the center of the dark room. Around him, holographic images of Earth's top military leaders appeared. Their faces were serious. They had all heard the distress call. "We have a situation," Admiral Chun said. She played the Velair message again. The screams, the fear, the death. "How far is Velair from Earth?" asked General Stone. 3 days at maximum speed," answered the navigation officer. "Intel report on the Krellins?" A young intelligence officer stepped forward. His voice was nervous. "Sir, the Krellin Empire has destroyed 52 planets in the last decade. They have never lost a battle. Their fleet has over 5,000 warships. They are considered the most dangerous force in the galaxy." The room went quiet. "And how many ships can we send?" asked Stone. 200, sir. Maybe 300 if we pull ships from Border Patrol." Someone laughed. It was bitter. 300 against 5,000? That's suicide. Admiral Chun slammed her hand on the table. "The Velair saved us 20 years ago. When Mars was starving, they sent food. When our colony ships broke down, they shared their technology. They asked for nothing. That was different," another general argued. "This is war against the Krellins. We could lose everything." General Stone raised his hand. Everyone stopped talking. He walked slowly around the table. His boots made heavy sounds on the metal floor. "Let me tell you something about humans," he said quietly. "We are not the strongest species. We are not the smartest. But we have something others don't understand." He stopped and looked at each face. We remember kindness. We remember friendship. And we pay our debts." He turned to the holographic display, showing Velair burning in space. "The Velair fed our children when we were weak. Now they are dying. Now they need us. So I'll ask you all one simple question." His voice became hard as steel. "What kind of humans are we if we do nothing?" Nobody spoke. But slowly, One by one, the generals nodded. Admiral Chen smiled. Then we go to war. General Stone activated the fleet-wide communication. His message reached every human ship, every soldier, every pilot across the solar system. This is General Marcus Stone. Activate Protocol Titan. I repeat, activate Protocol Titan. All fleet commanders. Prepare for immediate deployment. Target, Velair system. Mission, complete enemy destruction. He paused. Then he added something that made every soldier smile. The Krellins think they're the scariest thing in space. Let's show them what happens when you threaten human friends. Let's remind the galaxy why they should fear us. Across Earth's orbit, 300 warships powered up. Their engines glowed blue, their weapons charged. Inside each ship, human soldiers checked their gear. They were ready. In the docking bay, a young pilot painted something on his fighter. 3 words that would soon become legend. We pay debts. Admiral Chen looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, innocent people were dying, but not for long. Fleet, this is Chun. All ships, jump to hyperspace on my mark. 3, 2, 1, jump. Space ripped open. The human fleet disappeared into the void. They were coming, and hell was coming with them. The human fleet moved through hyperspace like ghosts in the dark. Inside the command ship Thunderstrike, Admiral Chen walked through the corridors. Soldiers saluted as she passed. Their faces showed no fear, only determination. She reached the briefing room. All ship captains waited on holographic screens. Over 300 faces looked at her. Captains listened carefully. Chen began, "In 48 hours, we reach Velair. Before we fight, you need to know exactly who we're fighting." She nodded to the intelligence officer. A hologram appeared in the center. It showed a massive alien creature, 7 feet tall, dark armor, red glowing eyes. Terrifying. This is a Krellin warrior, the officer explained. The Krellin Empire has ruled through fear for 300 years. They don't negotiate. They don't show mercy. They only destroy. Another image appeared. Planets reduced to ash. Cities turned to glass. Billions dead. In the last 10 years, they destroyed 52 civilizations. Every species that fought them lost. Every planet that resisted was burned. A captain raised his hand. Why doesn't the galaxy stop them? Because they're too strong, the officer answered. The Krellin war fleet has over 5,000 ships. Their weapons can crack planets. Their shields have never been broken. They are considered unbeatable. Silence filled the room. The officer continued. 2 years ago, the Zephyron Alliance sent 2,000 ships against them. The battle lasted 4 hours. All Zephyron ships were destroyed. Not one Krellin ship was lost. More silence. Heavier now. Then someone laughed. It was Captain James Rodriguez of the warship Revenge. His laugh was cold. Dangerous. Good, he said with a dark smile. I was worried this would be too easy. Other captains began to smile too. Admiral Chen nodded. This was the human spirit, the thing that made them different. The Krellins think they're the apex predators of space, Chen said. They think fear is their greatest weapon. They've never met humans before. She pressed a button. New images appeared. Human weapons. Secret. Deadly. Beautiful. They've never seen our plasma cannons that can melt through any shield. They've never faced our quantum missiles that bend space itself. They've never experienced what happens when humans fight for something they love. General Stone appeared on the main screen from Earth. Captains, the Krellins believe they're invincible. Let them believe it, right until the moment we prove them wrong. Admiral Chen looked at every face on every screen. In 2 days, we reach Velair. The Krellins will see our small fleet and laugh. They'll think we're foolish. They'll think we're weak. Her voice became ice cold. Let them laugh. Let them mock us. Because we're not there to talk. We're not there to negotiate. We're there to teach the galaxy one simple lesson. She paused. Never, ever, threaten, human, friends. The captains roared in agreement. Fists hit tables. War cries echoed through space. In the weapons bay, engineers activated systems that had never been used in real combat. Experimental technology. Dangerous. Powerful. In the pilot quarters, soldiers wrote final messages to families, just in case. But their hands didn't shake. They were ready to die if needed. Admiral Chin returned to the bridge. Her second officer approached quietly. "Ma'am, we're still outnumbered 17-1. The odds are—" "I know the odds," Chin interrupted. She looked at the stars rushing past. "But the Krellins don't know humans. They don't know that we're craziest when the odds are bad." She smiled. "Besides, we're not just fighting for Velair. We're sending a message to every species in the galaxy. Touch our friends, and we will find you. We will reach you, and we will end you." The ship's alarm rang softly. A countdown appeared. 48 hours until arrival. 48 hours until the Krellin Empire learned fear. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Velair hung in the distance like a dying star. Half the planet was already dark. Fires covered the surface. Krellin warships surrounded it like vultures. On the Thunderstrike Bridge, Admiral Chen counted the enemy. "How many?" 800 Krellin ships, ma'am. More arriving every hour. 800 against 300. Bad odds. But humans had faced worse. A communication signal blasted across all channels. It was the Krellin commander. His voice was deep and cruel. "Pathetic humans. You dare challenge the Krellin Empire? Look at your tiny fleet. Look at our power. Turn back now, or burn with this worthless planet." Krellin warriors laughed on the transmission. They thought this was a joke. Admiral Chen smiled coldly. She opened her own channel. Every human ship heard her. Every Krellin ship heard her too. "This is Admiral Sarachin of Earth. We don't negotiate with bullies. We don't bargain with murderers. We just remove them." She cut the transmission and turned to her weapons officer. "All ships, fire everything." Space exploded with light. 300 human warships opened fire at once. Plasma cannons screamed through the void. Quantum missiles twisted reality as they flew. Rail guns fired metal slugs at impossible speeds. The Krellin shields lit up bright blue as weapons hit them. The Krellins laughed again. Their shields had never been broken. They were safe. Then the shields started cracking. "What?" the Krellin commander shouted. "Impossible." Human plasma burned hotter than stars. It melted through Krellin shields like butter. The first Krellin ship exploded into a ball of fire. Then another. Then 10 more. Panic filled the Krellin fleet. Return fire. Kill them all. Red beams shot from Krellin ships. They hit human vessels hard. 2 human destroyers exploded. 3 more took heavy damage. But humans didn't retreat. They pushed forward. Captain Rodriguez on the Revenge flew straight into the Krellin formation. His guns never stopped firing. "Come on, you ugly monsters. I'm right here." His ship danced between enemy fire. Every shot he took destroyed a Krellin vessel. He was laughing like a madman. On the planet below, Elder Tharn watched from his underground shelter. His people crowded around screens, crying with hope. "They came," someone whispered. The humans actually came. The battle raged for 30 minutes. Humans fought like demons. They used tactics the Krellins had never seen. They moved faster, fought smarter, hit harder. 50 Krellin ships were destroyed. Only 8 human ships were lost. The Krellin commander couldn't believe it. This was supposed to be easy. Humans were supposed to be weak. But his warriors were dying. His shield were breaking. "Retreat. Pull back. Regroup at the outer marker." The Krellin fleet turned and ran. They jumped away to a safe distance, leaving their dead behind. On the Thunderstrike, humans cheered. They had won the first battle. But Admiral Chun didn't celebrate. Her face was serious. Status report. 8 ships destroyed, ma'am. 34 damaged. We can still fight. Chun nodded. She looked at the fleeing Krellin ships on her scanner. "They'll be back. And they'll bring everything they have." Her tactical officer looked worried. "Ma'am, we hurt them, but we just made them very, very angry." Admiral Chen smiled. It was a cold, dangerous smile. "Good. Let them be angry. Let them bring their entire fleet. Because we weren't fighting to win just now. Then what were we doing? Testing our weapons, Chen answered quietly. That was just a warm-up. Now we know their shields can break. Now we know they can bleed. She activated the fleet-wide channel. All ships, this is Chun. Well done. But the real battle is coming. The Krellins will return with thousands of ships. They'll want revenge. They'll want to crush us. She paused. Let them come. We'll be ready, because we're not here to survive. We're here to win. And humans always finish what they start. Across the fleet, soldiers reloaded weapons. Engineers repaired damage. Pilots prepared for the next fight. On planet Velair, people emerged from shelters. They looked up at the sky where debris from Krellin ships burned like falling stars. Elder Tharn fell to his knees and cried, not from sadness, from hope. The humans were fighting for them, really fighting, to the death if necessary. In deep space, the Krellin commander raged inside his command ship. He had just contacted the Krellin Emperor. Reinforcements were coming, for 1,000 more warships. The humans had won one battle, but the war was just beginning. 24 hours later, they came. The sky above Velair turned dark, not from night, from ships. Thousands and thousands of Krellin warships dropped out of hyperspace. On the Thunderstrike Bridge, alarm screamed. Ma'am, sensors are going crazy. Counting 4,000, no, 4,200 enemy ships incoming. Admiral Chen stood perfectly still. Around her, officers looked terrified. 4,000 ships, against their remaining 290. The odds were 20 to 1. Ma'am, we should retreat, someone whispered. We can't win this. Chen didn't move. She stared at the enemy fleet, filling her screen. So many ships, like a swarm of metal locusts. Then she smiled. Retreat? No. We came here to send a message. It's time to deliver it. The Krellin commander's face appeared on screen. He was huge, covered in battle scars. His eyes burned with hate. Foolish humans, you destroyed 50 of my ships. You embarrassed me. Now you die. My emperor sent 4,000 warships just for you. You should feel honored. Admiral Chen leaned forward. We're not honored. We're excited. We were getting bored. The Krellin commander roared. Attack. Kill them all. Leave nothing alive. The massive Krellin fleet surged forward like a red tide of death. All human ships, Chen ordered calmly. Battle formation Omega. Activate all weapon systems. Today we show the galaxy what humans can do. 300 human ships spread out in a complex pattern. Small, fast, deadly. The Krellin fleet fired first. Thousands of red beams cut through space. The sky turned red. 3 human ships exploded instantly. 5 more took critical damage. Return fire. Chen shouted. Human weapons screamed to life. But this time, they used something new. Something secret. Quantum missiles. These missiles didn't just explode. They bent space itself. When they hit Krellin ships, reality twisted. The ships imploded, crushed by gravity. 10 Krellin vessels disappeared in seconds. The Krellins hesitated. What was this weapon? Captain Rodriguez dove his ship straight into the enemy formation. Come on, is this all you got? His crew thought he was insane, but his tactics worked. Krellin ships were big and slow. Human ships were small and fast. Rodriguez flew between them, firing constantly. Every shot killed. Other human captains followed his lead. They didn't fight like a fleet. They fought like wolves hunting prey. Admiral Chen watched the battle unfold. Humans were outnumbered, but they were winning the fight. Ma'am, Krellin reinforcements jumping in. Another 1,000 ships. Chen's jaw tightened. 5,000 total now. 25 to 1 odds. All ships, switch to plasma torpedoes. Maximum spread. Fire on my mark. Every human ship launched torpedoes at once. Hundreds of burning lights filled space. They hit the new Krellin ships before they could raise shields. Massive explosions lit up the darkness. But the Krellins kept coming. They surrounded human ships, trapped them, started destroying them one by one. 15 human ships exploded, then 20, then 30. On Velier below, Elder Tharn watched in horror. The humans were losing. They were dying for his people. "We have to do something," he cried. But what could they do? They had no weapons, no ships. In space, the battle raged. Humans fought like cornered animals, desperate, fierce, refusing to surrender. The Krellin commander laughed. "You're brave humans. I'll give you that. But bravery means nothing against superior numbers. Surrender now and I'll make your deaths quick." Admiral Chun was bleeding from a head wound. Her ship was damaged. Half her fleet was destroyed. But her eyes still burned with determination. "You want to know something about humans?" she said quietly into the calm. "We don't know how to quit. We don't know how to surrender. We only know how to fight." She turned to her weapons officer. "Activate protocol, Archangel." Her officer's face went pale. "Ma'am, that's our last option. The experimental weapon. It's never been tested in real combat." "I know," Chin said. "Do it anyway." Deep inside the Thunderstrike, something ancient powered up. A weapon so dangerous, humans had kept it secret for decades. A weapon that used the power of a dying star. All human ships pulled back immediately. Emergency retreat. Now! The remaining human ships scattered in all directions. The Krellins thought they were finally running. After them, the Krellin commander shouted, "Don't let them escape." The Krellin fleet bunched together, chasing the humans. That was their mistake. Admiral Chin pressed a button. "Fire, Archangel." A single beam shot from the Thunderstrike. It was white, pure, beautiful. It hit the center of the Krellin fleet, and the universe screamed. The beam didn't just destroy ships. It erased them. Reality itself tore apart. 1,000 Krellin warships vanished in 1 second. Just gone. The shock wave spread outward. Another 1,000 ships were caught in it, crushed, melted, destroyed. In 5 seconds, 2,000 Krellin ships were eliminated. Total silence filled the battlefield. The Krellin commander stared in absolute horror. Half his fleet, gone, in 5 seconds. What are you?" he whispered. Admiral Chen's voice was cold as ice. "We're humans, and we protect our friends. Now leave. Run back to your emperor. Tell him what happened here. Tell him that if he ever threatens our allies again, we'll find his homeworld, and we'll do this to it." The Krellin commander's hands shook. For the first time in 300 years, the Krellin Empire knew fear. "Retreat," he whispered. "Retreat." The remaining Krellin ships turned and jumped away. They ran like frightened children. The silence after battle was strange. No more explosions. No more screams. Just a quiet hum of damaged ships floating in space. Admiral Chin stood on her bridge. Her uniform was torn. Blood dripped from a cut on her face. But she was smiling. "Damage report," she said quietly. 98 ships lost, ma'am. 192 ships remaining. All damaged but functional. Almost a third of the fleet was gone. Good people. Brave soldiers. Dead. But Velier was saved. "Open a channel to the planet," Chin ordered. The screen showed Elder Tharn in his council chamber. His face was wet with tears. Behind him, thousands of his people were crying too. But these were tears of joy. "Admiral Chun," Tharn's voice broke. You saved us. You lost so many. For us." Chin nodded slowly. "You helped Earth when we were weak. You fed our children. You asked for nothing. Today we return that kindness. But why? Why sacrifice so much for us?" "Because that's what humans do," Chin answered simply. "We remember our friends, and we protect them. Always." Elder Tharn fell to his knees. "We can never repay this debt. You already did. 20 years ago. Now we're even." Chun cut the transmission. She looked tired. Old. The weight of 98 lost ships pressed on her heart. "Ma'am, incoming transmission," her calm officer said. "It's from the Krellin Empire. Their emperor wants to speak." Everyone on the bridge tensed. Was this another attack? The screen showed an enormous Krellin, covered in golden armor, eyes like burning coals. the Emperor himself. "Human Admiral," he growled, "you destroyed 3,000 of my ships. You humiliated my fleet. You made the Krellin Empire look weak." Chin said nothing. She just stared at him. The Emperor continued, "No one has ever done this to us. No one has ever made us retreat. I should send my entire armada to destroy your pathetic Earth." "Then do it," Chin said coldly. "Come to Earth. Bring everything you have. We'll be waiting." The Emperor studied her face, looking for fear, for weakness. He found nothing. Then, slowly, he smiled. It was a terrible smile, respect mixed with hatred. "No, not today. You won this battle. Human, you earned your victory. But know this, the Krellin Empire remembers. We always remember." "So do humans," Chin replied. "So do we." The transmission ended. Chen's officers exhaled. They didn't know they were holding their breath. "He's afraid," someone whispered. "The Emperor is actually afraid of us." Chin nodded. "He should be. We just taught the galaxy a lesson. Never underestimate humans. Never threaten our friends." 3 days later, the human fleet returned to Earth. They came back as heroes. Every ship that survived was damaged, scarred, beautiful. On Earth, billions watched as the fleet descended. People cried. They cheered. They celebrated the soldiers who fought for strangers across the stars. General Stone met Admiral Chun at the landing bay. He saluted her. "You did it. You saved them." "We lost 98 ships," Chin said quietly. "Almost 3,000 soldiers. And they died protecting innocent people. They died as heroes. History will remember them." Chin looked at the sky. Somewhere out there, Velair was rebuilding. Children were playing again. Families were together. "It was worth it," she whispered. Across the galaxy, the news spread like fire. The humans had defeated the Krellin Empire. The unbeatable fleet had run away. The apex predators had learned fear. Other species watched in shock. Some felt hope, some felt terror, but all of them understood one thing now. Humans were dangerous, not because they were strong, not because they had powerful weapons, but because humans fought for their friends, because they kept their promises, because they never forgot. In the Galactic Council, representatives gathered to discuss this new development. "The humans are too powerful," one species argued. "They could conquer the galaxy." "But they didn't," another replied. "They fought to save others, not to conquer. Still, we should be careful. They have weapons that can destroy thousands of ships." An old ambassador stood up. He had watched the battle recordings. He had seen what humans could do. "I propose a new law," he said clearly. "From this day forward, no empire shall threaten any ally of Earth. The humans have shown us what happens when you attack their friends." The council voted. The law passed. The galaxy had a new rule: never threaten human allies. On Velair, Elder Tharn stood at the monument they built. It was made of metal from destroyed Krellin ships. On it were carved the names of every human soldier who died protecting Velair. 3,000 names. 3,000 heroes. At the bottom, one sentence was written in both human and Velair language. They came when no one else would. They fought when victory seemed impossible. They died so strangers could live. This is humanity. Tharn touched the cold metal. "Thank you," he whispered to the stars. "Thank you, brave humans." On Earth, Admiral Chin returned to her quiet home. She was tired. So tired. But that night, she received a message. It was from Velair, a simple video. It showed children playing in streets, families rebuilding homes, people smiling, alive. At the end, all of them said together, "Thank you, Earth. Thank you, humans." Chin watched it 3 times. Tears ran down her face. Her sacrifice meant something. Her soldiers didn't die for nothing. She looked at the picture on her desk. Her fleet, her people, the ones who survived and the ones who didn't. "We did it," she told them. "We sent the message. The galaxy knows now. Touch our friends, and we will come. We will find you, and we will stop you." 1 year passed. The Battle of Velair became legend. Songs were sung about it. Stories were told to children across 1,000 worlds. The day humanity proved that kindness was worth fighting for. But legends have consequences. Admiral Chen sat in her office on Earth. She was older now, more gray hair, more scars, but her eyes were still sharp. A young lieutenant entered nervously. "Ma'am, we have a situation." Chen looked up from her reports. "What kind of situation?" 37 species have requested military alliances with Earth. They all want human protection. Chen frowned. 37? Yes, ma'am. They're afraid of the Krellins, afraid of other empires. They heard what we did at Velair. They want us to protect them too. Chen leaned back in her chair. This was the problem with being a hero. Everyone wanted you to save them. What did the council say? They're divided. Some say we should help. Some say we can't protect everyone. Some say we're becoming the very thing we fought against, a galactic empire. Chen closed her eyes. The lieutenant was right to be worried. "Tell the council I'll address them tomorrow," she said quietly. That night, Chen couldn't sleep. She walked through the military memorial. Thousands of names carved in stone. All the soldiers who died at Velair. "What would you want me to do?" she whispered to the names. A voice spoke behind her. "They'd want you to stay true to what we fought for." She turned. It was Captain Rodriguez. He survived the battle. Barely. Half his face was scarred now. "Rodriguez, what are you doing here?" "Same as you. Thinking. Remembering." He walked beside her. "I heard about the Alliance requests. 37 species want us to be their protectors." Rodriguez whistled. "That's a lot of responsibility." "Too much. We can't protect the entire galaxy. We're not an empire. We're just us." "True," Rodriguez agreed. "But we are the ones who proved that standing up to bullies works. We showed that protecting the weak is possible." Chen looked at him. "So what do we do? Say yes to everyone? Spread ourselves thin until we break?" "No." Rodriguez pointed at the memorial. "We be selective. We help those who truly need it. Those who can't protect themselves. We don't build an empire. We build a network of friends." Chen smiled slightly. "A network of friends. I like that." The next day, Admiral Chen stood before the Galactic Council. Representatives from hundreds of species watched her, some with hope, some with fear, some with suspicion. "I've heard that many species want Earth's protection," Chen began. "They want human ships guarding their worlds, human soldiers fighting their battles." Murmurs filled the chamber. "I understand why. The galaxy is dangerous. The Krellins still exist. Other empires still threaten the weak. And yes, humans prove we can fight. We can win." She paused. "But Earth is not building an empire. We will not become galactic police. We will not control you or rule you." Disappointment showed on many faces. "However," Chen continued, her voice stronger now, "we will do something better. We will teach." Confusion replaced disappointment. "Any species that wants our help will receive it, but not our soldiers. Our knowledge will teach you how to build better ships, how to develop stronger weapons, how to defend yourselves." Elder Tharn stood up from the Velair delegation. "You would share your technology, your military secrets?" "Yes," Chen said firmly, "because that's what friends do. We don't want you to depend on us. We want you to stand with us, as equals." She looked around the chamber. "The galaxy has been ruled by fear for too long. Big empires crushing small worlds. The strong destroying the weak. That ends now. Not because humans will save everyone, but because we'll help everyone save themselves." The chamber erupted. Some species cheered. Others protested. But most listened carefully. A Krellin representative stood. He was not the emperor, just a diplomat. His voice was careful, respectful. "And what of the Krellin Empire? Will you teach our enemies how to destroy us?" Chen looked at him directly. "We will teach anyone who promises to use that knowledge for defense, not conquest. If the Krellin Empire stops attacking innocent worlds, we have no quarrel with you. But if you return to your old ways..." She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. The The Krellin diplomat nodded slowly. He understood. 6 months later, the first Earth Defense Academy opened. It was built on a neutral moon. Representatives from 40 different species attended. They learned human tactics, human technology, human values. But the most important lesson was simple. Protect the innocent. Stand together. Never give up. General Stone gave the opening speech. You are not here to become human, he told the students. You are here to become defenders. Each of you comes from different worlds, different cultures, different beliefs. But you all share one thing. He pointed at the stars above. You all believe the weak deserve protection. That bullies must be stopped. That freedom is worth fighting for. These are not human values. These are universal values. And together, we will make sure they survive. The students saluted, not a human salute. Each species used their own gesture of respect. That was the point. Unity through diversity. Far away in deep space, on a Krellin warship, the Emperor sat alone in his chamber. He was thinking about the humans, their small fleet, their impossible victory. For 300 years, the Krellin Empire had ruled through fear. They were the monsters of the galaxy, the unstoppable force. But now, there was something scarier than the Krellins. Humans. Humans who fought like demons when protecting their friends. Humans who had weapons that could erase fleets. Humans who never surrendered. The Emperor made a decision. He sent orders to every Krellin commander. Avoid human allies. Do not engage Earth. The humans are dangerous. For the first time in history, the Krellin Empire feared someone. And so the galaxy changed. Weak species found hope. Bullies found caution. Tyrants found fear. Because humanity had shown everyone a simple truth. Some species fight for territory. Some fight for resources. Some fight for glory. But humans fight for their friends. And there is nothing more dangerous in the universe than a human protecting someone they love. The war was over. Earth returned to peace. But the human fleet stayed ready. Always watching. Always waiting. Because somewhere out there, someone might threaten their friends again. And when that happens, the war machine will wake up. And the galaxy will remember. Never make humans angry. 2 years after Velair, everything changed. Small species weren't helpless anymore. They had weapons, training, confidence. Alliances formed between species that once feared each other. The Krellin Empire stayed quiet. They remembered what happened when they attacked Velair. They knew humans kept their promises. Other aggressive empires noticed the change too. The galaxy wasn't easy prey anymore. Conquest had consequences now. Pirates and slavers found their jobs much harder. Too many species could defend themselves. Too many were willing to help each other. It wasn't perfect. Wars still happened. People still died. But something fundamental had shifted. The galaxy was learning. Admiral Chun retired 3 years after the Battle of Velair. She was tired. Her body hurt. She had given everything to the cause. On her last day, she visited the memorial one final time. So many names. So many heroes. We did it, she whispered. The galaxy is safer now. Not because of us. Because we taught them how to protect themselves. She placed flowers at the base of the memorial. Flowers from Earth. From Velair. From a dozen other worlds. All of them growing together. As she walked away, she saw children playing nearby. Human children. Velair children. Krellin children. All together. All friends. That's when she knew. The sacrifice was worth it. The legacy wasn't the battle. The legacy was this. Different species. Different worlds. United by shared values. 10 years after Velair, Elder Tharn died peacefully in his sleep. His last words were, "Thank the humans. Tell them we'll never forget." His grandson became the new elder. The first thing he did was renew Velair's alliance with Earth. "My grandfather told me stories," he said to the human ambassador, "about the day your ships arrived, about Admiral Chen's promise, about soldiers who died for strangers." He touched the memorial that still stood in the city center. "We've built our own fleet now. We've trained our own soldiers. Because of what you taught us. And I promise you this, If Earth ever needs help, Velair will come. We will fight for you, just like you fought for us." The human ambassador smiled. "That's all we ever wanted. Not servants, not subjects. Friends. You have that. Forever." 20 years after Velair, Admiral Chin passed away quietly at age 78. The funeral was the largest event in galactic history. Representatives from over 200 species came to Earth. They came to honor the woman who changed everything. The Krellin Emperor himself attended. He placed a Krellin battle medal at her grave, the highest honor his species could give. "She was our enemy," he said simply, "but she was a warrior, and warriors respect warriors. The galaxy is better because she lived." Captain Rodriguez, now an old man himself, gave the final speech. "Admiral Chin taught us that strength without compassion is tyranny, that victory without honor is meaningless, that the true measure of a species is not how they treat the powerful, but how they protect the weak." He looked at the stars. "She's gone now, but her legacy remains. Every ship we build, every soldier we train, every alliance we forge, every time we choose courage over fear, every time we choose kindness over cruelty, that's Admiral Chun. That's humanity. That's the promise." The crowd stood silent. 200 species, thousands of representatives, all united in respect. Then, together, they all spoke the words carved on Chen's monument. "We protect our friends. Always." 50 years after Velair, the galaxy was unrecognizable. The Galactic Defense Network included over 500 species. The weak were no longer helpless. The bullies were no longer unstoppable. Young children across countless worlds learned about the Battle of Velair in school, about the humans who came when no one else would, about the promise that changed history. And when those children looked up at the night sky, they knew something their ancestors didn't know. They were not alone. Someone would come if they needed help, not to conquer them, not to control them, to stand beside them, as friends, as equals. That was the true legacy of Velair. That was the gift humanity gave the galaxy. Not weapons, not ships, not empire, but hope. Hope that goodness could win. That courage mattered. That one species standing up could inspire 1,000 others to do the same. And somewhere in the cold darkness of space, human warships still patrolled, watching, waiting, protecting, because the promise still stood. The promise Admiral Chin made. The promise humanity kept. "Touch our friends, and we will come. We will find you, and we will stop you." The war machines of Earth slept quietly, but they never forgot, and they never would. 75 years after Velair, Commander Jake Chin stood on the bridge of the warship Legacy. He was young, only 32, but he carried an old name, a famous name, Chun. Admiral Sarah Chun was his great-grandmother. He never met her. She died before he was born, but he grew up with her stories, her lessons, her promise. "Commander, we're receiving a distress signal," his communications officer reported. Jake's heart quickened. From where? The Outer Rim, a small colony called Terra Nova. They're under attack. Jake pulled up the data. Terra Nova was a human settlement. Only 50,000 people. Farmers, families, civilians. Who's attacking them? Unknown vessels. Not Krellin. Not any registered empire. Possibly pirates or a new hostile force. Jake didn't hesitate. Set course for Terra Nova. Maximum speed. Alert the fleet. His second officer looked worried. "Sir, we're 3 days away. By the time we arrive, they'll know someone is coming." Jake interrupted. "Send them a message. Tell them Earth is coming. Tell them to hold on." The officer nodded and transmitted the message. Jake stared at the stars. 75 years ago, his great-grandmother made a promise. Today he would keep it. On Terra Nova, Governor Maria Santos received a message in her bunker. The colony was burning above her. Strange ships circled the planet like vultures. She played the message for her people. Hundreds of terrified faces looked at her. "This is Commander Jake Chin of Earth Fleet. We received your distress call. We are 3 days away. Hold your positions. Protect each other. We are coming. Earth never abandons its people. The colonists cried, some with relief, some with fear. 3 days was a long time, but they had hope now. Someone was coming. Maria stood tall. You heard him. We hold for 3 days. Ration food, ration water. Protect the children. We survive until Earth arrives. A young boy raised his hand. Will they really come, Governor? Maria smiled through her tears. Yes, because 75 years ago, a woman named Admiral Chin made a promise, and humans never break their promises. The Legacy tore through space at maximum speed. Behind it, 20 more Earth ships followed. Jake sat in his command chair, thinking. His crew was young. Most had never seen real combat. They trained for years, but training wasn't the same as war. His tactical officer approached quietly. Sir, long-range scans show at least 40 hostile ships at Terra Nova. We only have 21 ships. I know the numbers, Jake said calmly. Sir, maybe we should request reinforcements from the defense network. The Velair have ships nearby. The Zynthians, too. Jake shook his head. Terra Nova is a human colony. This is our responsibility. Besides, we don't need more ships. We need to be smart. He stood and addressed his bridge crew. 75 years ago, my great-grandmother faced 5,000 enemy ships with 300. She won, not because she had more firepower, but because she had something the enemy didn't. What was that, sir? A young ensign asked. A reason to fight, Jake answered. Those ships attacking Terra Nova? They're just raiders. Criminals. They're there for profit, for loot, for easy targets. He smiled. But we're not there for profit. We're there to save 50,000 lives. Our people, our families, and that makes us dangerous. The crew straightened in their seats. Fear turned to determination. When we arrive, the enemy will see our small fleet and laugh. Let them laugh. My great-grandmother taught the galaxy one lesson. I'm going to teach them another. What lesson, sir? That 75 years later, humans are still the scariest thing in space when you threaten our people. 3 days later, the Legacy dropped out of hyperspace above Terra Nova. The pirate fleet detected them immediately. Their leader, a creature called Vexer, laughed on his command throne. 20 human ships? He hissed his crew. They must be joking. We have 40. Destroy them. But Jake was already moving. All ships. Execute protocol, Ghost. The human fleet scattered in 12 different directions. Their engines went dark. They disappeared from sensors. Vexer's smile faded. Where did they go? Find them. His ships searched frantically, but space was big, and human ships were designed to hide. Then, from the darkness, a single human ship appeared. The Legacy. This is Commander Jake of Earthfleet. His voice broadcast to all ships. You are attacking human civilians. You have one chance. Leave now or be destroyed. Vexer laughed again. One ship threatens 40? You're insane. Maybe, Jake said quietly, but I'm also a Chun, and my family has a reputation. He cut the transmission. Fire. The Legacy launched a barrage of missiles, not at the pirate ships, at the planet's upper atmosphere. The missiles exploded in brilliant flashes. Harmless. Just light. Vexer laughed harder. You missed. Your aim is terrible. But Jake was smiling. I wasn't aiming at you. Suddenly, from 19 different positions around the planet, the rest of the human fleet appeared. They had used the light flashes to mask their approach. The pirates were surrounded. All ships, Jake ordered. Show them what happens when you attack our people. Fire everything. 20 human warships opened fire at once. The pirates didn't stand a chance. They were caught in a perfect crossfire. Shields failed. Ships exploded. Chaos erupted. Vexer screamed orders, but his fleet was falling apart. Half his ships were destroyed in the first minute. Retreat. Everyone retreat. The surviving pirate ships tried to run, but Jake wasn't letting them go. Pursuit formation. Don't let any escape. If we let them go, They'll just attack another colony. The human fleet chased down the fleeing pirates. One by one, they destroyed them. No mercy, no hesitation. Vexor's ship was the last. Damaged and dying, he broadcast one final message. Who are you people? Why do you fight like demons? Jake's face appeared on his screen. Young, determined, terrifying. We're humans, and you attacked our family. That was your mistake. Your last mistake. The legacy fired. Vexor's ship exploded into nothing. On Terra Nova, the colonists emerged from their bunkers. The sky was clear. The enemy was gone. Governor Maria Santos cried as she looked up. Human ships descended gently, bringing supplies and medical aid. Commander Jake Chin stepped out of his shuttle. Maria ran to him and hugged him. She didn't care about protocol. He saved her people. Thank you, she sobbed. Thank you for coming. Jake hugged her back. We made a promise 75 years ago. We always keep our promises. That night, the colonists held a celebration. Children played. Families reunited. Life returned. Jake stood alone, looking at the stars. His communication officer approached. Sir, we're receiving messages from across the galaxy. Everyone heard about the battle. They're calling you the Second Chun. They say you're just like your great-grandmother. Jake shook his head. I'm not like her. She was a hero. She changed the galaxy. I just did my job. With respect, sir, isn't that what you would say? Jake smiled. Maybe the officer was right. 1 week later, Jake received a personal message. It was from Elder Tharn III of Velair, the great-grandson of the man Admiral Chin saved. Commander Chin, I heard about Terra Nova. You honored your great-grandmother's legacy. Velair remembers what your family did for us. If you ever need help, we will come. That is our promise to you. Jake read the message 3 times. Then he sent a reply. Thank you, Elder Tharn. My great-grandmother would be honored. She didn't fight for glory. She fought for friendship. And that friendship still stands 75 years later. That night, Jake visited Earth's memorial. Admiral Chen's statue stood tall. Her eyes looked to the stars. Jake saluted her. I hope I made you proud, great-grandmother. I kept your promise, just like you taught us. The wind blew gently. For a moment, Jake could almost hear her voice. You did well, but the mission isn't over. There are more people to protect, more promises to keep. The galaxy still needs heroes. Jake smiled. I know, and we'll be here. Always. He looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, someone else might need help. Another distress call might come. And when it did, humans would answer, because the promise lived on. Not just in Admiral Chun, not just in Jake, but in every human who understood the simple truth. We protect our friends. We keep our promises. We never abandon those who need us. That was the legacy. That was humanity. And it would never die.